So you got everything that you wanted from me, but really I still need you to bring me back to life, cause my heart is on need. Will you water me? Need you to water me. You never see it my way, like you want me replaced. Come and save me, babe, cause I'm withering away, withering away. Will you want me? Need you to want me. Will you want me? Need you to want me. I've been working on my patience. Feels like a love drought. And everybody loves them sunny days, but I need you to let your love vibrate. All you wanna be.
Peace, good people. It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Yes, today is Friday, October 26, 2018. I'm the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com with the daily energy reading. Now, this energy reading is about to be like 15 to 17 minutes long because I'm pressed for time. I apologize for yesterday, but we was up all night with the Sister Queens radio. Then have to come back and do it around all over again. But later on today, I'll be uploading that Sister Queens interview as well. So just been doing a lot, hella busy. But it really speaks to the astrology. I had a movie in my mind before I went to sleep, but I forgot about it. It'll come back to me at some point. But anyways, yeah. Venus is at 3 degrees Virgo. The sun is going to be approaching 3 degrees Virgo. So what we have is the sun approaching Venus as Venus going retrograde. Sun conjunct Venus retrograde. The ancients called this energy Hesperus and Prosperous. Not prosperous, but phosphorus, which ultimately meant sense and reference. Venus being at the 3rd degree of Scorpio is speaking to cooperation. Since you have like a 3, you have mind, body, and soul. And then you have the sun, mind, body, and soul. So those two things coming together, it should be a mind, body, and soul connection. But it ain't like that now. The energy, since Venus retrograde is like the reverse. You're really gonna have to experiment. You're really gonna have to try. It's real trouble for people today if they know everything. Like, you really need to wake up today, live life, and be enlightened, learned. Like, it's nothing that we truly know. You know, we can only really live life in the everyday moment to moment basis and then kind of pick up things. It's just like, you know, when we know so much about ourselves, when we know so much about our energy, when we know so much about our partner, that's when we get in trouble. So if we really gonna deal with this energy of the day, Friday, you really gotta like kind of experience, but you don't want to be like ignorant either, in the sense that you going down the wrong path or being tempted into some immediate gratification with no long-term benefits. Like that ain't me. But having this channel and like speaking to y'all every day, like, I don't have to kind of always speak to myself. I can literally speak to the energy at times and say like, damn, I keep picking up on this energy, like people being tempted. Not even the fact of exes coming back, but it could it could look like an ex, is what I'm saying. It could look like somebody you love, but are you looking at that person's energy and acting upon a surface, a feeling, like a vibration that has no long-term benefits? Is really gonna have you in a bad position. It's the weekend. I know you got plans set up and, you know, all of this wild shit, but you really need to sit back and take a look back at your energy before you make any kind of decisions. Depending on who you are, depending on where you at, it's just a certain level of growth and understanding. The term is sense and reference. Sense is everything that we see, everything that we feel, just our senses, like. But then reference is actually going outside of that frame of just your sensory inputs. Like an example is like a person who's went on a mystical retreat or did a sabbatical or done a jihad and then like have come back home. Their way of life is a little bit different versus them just sitting in the same space, just simply having banter with the same people, having the same type of experience. Like growing up, I was fortunate to go to Catholic school. I went to the hood school. I went to the popular school. I used to be in college prep. I would even go to the colleges, you know, for certain periods of time when I was in high school. Had a lot of different experience. So as a student, I wasn't a normal student. And so just keeping up with that same energy throughout my life, I've had a lot of different experiences. I'm not a normal person. So it's like, it's different when you like, all right, you go to work or something and you dealing with somebody who has never left that side of town or have never left that city. Or if they go on vacations, they just never expanded their mind in a way outside of the stuff that we talking about on this YouTube channel like every day. Is going to be kind of weird. So just understanding the difference between knowledge and living in the world where a lot of people is not knowledge at all. They just more or less thinking that this shit is going to be easy. This shit is going to be simple and everything is about the surface. But if you take a step back, all this work you've been doing, you would have to think like it has some type of purpose or some larger scope. I hope like nobody was doing nothing spiritual in vain, like to get something in return. You know, like your spirit and your shadow and all of that, the shit is just with you. So to deal with it and to think like that shit's going to benefit you is the same way of noticing your shadow or noticing anything about yourself that like you just want to get credit for. Like, look at my arm. Like, my arm is special. Like, your arm can never be special. It's just an arm. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just more or less about our spiritual energy. So it's not to say like, oh, you get a high five. Oh, you get praise. Oh, you get all of these wonderful benefits. It's just a part of your life, my nigga. Like, so understanding that and dealing with this energy, you don't want to get caught up or slipped up into some crazy shit. What I'm gonna do differently with these cards of the day is talk about the shadow aspect to these cards. Usually I talk about, and intentionally I deal with the consciousness of each of these cards because it's like more of a like, I'm all for the positivity and upliftment of the souls on this planet. But in dealing with that, there is some shit that you got to kind of warn people against if you're going to do this work. Like, and if it don't apply, let it fly. But if you are dealing with temptation, if you're dealing with a particular energy that is trying to seduce you, make this shit sound too good to be true, you really need to pay attention to that shit. Like, for real. Like, you really need to understand it. An astrology example, like this full moon happened in my second house in Scorpio. Scorpio sits in my second house. My second house is my house of finances, my house of value. And so this full moon illuminated and showed me where I can make the most money at, the most value in my life. And it forced it, like it literally forced it for me to look at myself like I'm going through like this trial experiment with this job. And I don't even want a job. I didn't even fill out an application or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't looking for a job. But they made the offer too good to be true. And then I'm in there and I'm like, damn, I really like this shit. This shit really, like, I really enjoy it. And I'm getting paid and I'm learning. And on top of that, I'm in school. So what this job is doing is helping me with my schoolwork. It's actually giving me purpose and frame and context for my damn future. So this full moon in the second house in Taurus, it's showing me a lot about myself. Now for the individual, what is it showing you? Can you take it? Can you handle it? And so that's what we're going to talk about in the tarot. And this might, like I said, first off, let me say that I love y'all. Second off, if it don't apply, let it fly. Peace. So the first card is the Eight of Discs. And so the Eight of Discs in consciousness is really understanding things maturely in nature. Everything takes its time. If I plant a seed, it has to harvest, grow. I have to make sure no rodents get to it. But the Eight of Discs today is talking about, excuse me again, moving too fast, too soon. Being immature, thinking that a person can seduce you and say all the right things, and this is really what you've been missing. Just pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. If you in yourself, if you feel like you going too fast, if you feel like you ain't really about to put in no work and really cultivate some shit, but it's like a one night stand, it's like a one night fling, it's like a, oh, get this money real quick. You gonna be in for a rude awakening, and it might take you years and months to live this shit down. Like, for real, if you're not trying to have no baby with this man, if you ain't trying to have no baby with this woman, if you ain't trying to go to jail, like, don't do it. Venus in retrograde at 3 degrees Scorpio says don't do it. Ten of Discs is, the Ten of Discs is inner spiritual wealth. So the shadow side to this card is straight up laziness, straight up indolence, straight up I'm just trying to find the easiest way out this motherfucker. And consciousness and magic seem like the easiest way out, so I'm gonna be into it because I feel like this is gonna be some simple shit for me to get into. Ain't nothing else worked out for me type shit. Wrong. With this magic shit and this consciousness, you might have to work as hard as you might have to be, like, I've went through the most gruesome, horriblest human shit known to man in the sake of fucking consciousness, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. If you're trying to live a good life, if you're trying to make some money, if you're trying to, you know, have a wife and husband, go to church, be a Christian. If you're trying to live a good human life, join the mosque, go to the temple. They do that shit every day. They are professionals at that shit. If you're trying to know self, if you're trying to know your spirit, then it's going to be some hard ass work. It's going to probably be the most hardest thing you ever had to initiate in your life. And you have to be self-initiated with it. And you have to, you know, cultivate your own experience. You can't be lazy in this consciousness. And of course, it's going to be a plethora of people that support your laziness, okay? I get that. I understand that. It's going to be books. It's going to be people. It's going to be, you know, friends and family that support your laziness. But you're not happy. So let's deal with that. The next card is the Five of Swords. Defeat is doing some shit in this moment that you know is going to fail. You know it's going to fail. It has always failed you. It's going to continue to fail you like an ex. Nothing that my exes can tell me to make me want to fuck with them again. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing that could seduce me into... She could come through with an onk, head wrap, meditating, levitating on the magic carpet. I wouldn't give a shit because I know you. I know you. I know what you done put me through. I know the many times that you done lied. I know, like, another thing with exes, like when an ex leaves you, get another person and then want to be your friend and never taking the fact that you still in love with them. So when the ex try to do that shit, they still trying to hurt you low key, subtly. People don't care about how you feel, so it's your responsibility to care about how you feel. And so if you ain't sure on how you feel, then it's best not to deal with people, because people will manipulate you and drag you through the river, and there's really nothing you could do about it because you're not in tune with how you feel. And that should have been your first move. The next card that we're going to talk about is the Star. Where we at? The Star is talking about, if you like, the Star is like, oh, I know what I want to get to. I know where I'm going. I see it. I'm about to grab it. The shadow side to this card is focusing on where you're trying to get to and not even noticing these psychic vampires right in front of you because you're so convinced that your future is going to be so better. So you will overlook some shit today and overdo some shit and look past some shit today and not pay attention to what's happening right in front of you. Straight up psychic vampires, and you not shielding your energy, protecting your energy from shit, and you just like caught up in the illusion. The Ace of Swords really speaks to focusing on the details of a situation and not the bigger picture, and not creating the life that, like, saying the words that you want to exude, what you saying the shit that you're afraid of, and like the details of it is mind-boggling. The details of, you know, opioid death in America on the day is mind-boggling. The details of the divorce rate, the details of how many black people are not voting versus to how many black people are mass incarcerated. What? We vote for these people who be down for the private prison corporation and locking up your goddamn sons for nothing, and we don't even vote. So this is the laziness shit, and we live in the manifestations of people being idle, people being lazy, people only watching TV all goddamn day. And then trying to shake yourself up out of that shit, try to get conscious and aware to what's going in the world, is going to require a level of change. Because the light side of this card is paying attention to your opposite polarity. If you see, it has two yin yang symbols. Yin yang is the light and the darkness, the dark and the light, synonymous together. And if you got the two of this, it's like you peering into the darkness, or if you're in the darkness, you're peering into the light, realizing that it's all one. Now, the shadow side to this card is really paying attention to some shit that you've been neglecting, or not paying attention to it. Like, if you've been neglecting, like I've been neglecting my financial, personal, career, and life, and where I'm gonna look forward to in my life, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been neglecting that. I've been really deep on this conscious shit. And so for this full moon area, for this full moon void, I've been really paying attention to some shit that I've not even been paying attention to. You can ask my wife, I don't like a job. I'm insulted by the mere fact of me actually going to work. I wouldn't even in the past, if I was gonna project like, Kyrie, you're gonna be working at a job and you're gonna be in day 5 of training, how would you feel? I would be like, damn, bro, I would be pulling the hairs out of my beard out. I would be crushing my grasses. I would be so distraught right now if I had to work at a job. But the reality is, through this experience, it's not like that. I really literally got out of myself and put myself in a position that now, damn, I feel like I'm growing. And this is reference. This is reference. as opposed to Sense. Sense is a bunch of niggas in the same neighborhood talking about the same chicks, the same party, the same club, the same environment, the same baby mamas, the same shit all day, every day. Reference is getting out of that shit, realizing that the shit that them niggas is talking about is literally pointless when you factor in this whole damn world. And that could be your relationship, your career, whatever you think that you doing that you think is so right and you think that is so good. You haven't stepped outside of stepped into the real world to even like think that shit. Like, what is a friend? You got 8 billion friends out here. 8 billion. And you concentrated on them niggas that you grew up with? Are you serious? And so reference is getting outside of and understand that it's all one and the same. It's all synonymous. It's just some real shit, man. We have to really experience life outside of just these regular, everyday, mundane people. And peace to everybody that caught me on the live. Like I said, I was going to do a 15 to 17 minute video. I pushed it all the way to 22 just because I had to get this message out and understand that this is Venus retrograde. And if you think Venus retrograde ain't shit and it's just some regular shit, man, ancients have been studying the Venus retrograde for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And for you to act like, oh, it ain't nothing and I'm gonna just go to work and I'm gonna just keep continuing doing the same shit, you gonna be in a situation. You gonna be in a situation and you really like, even speaking to the full moon, new moon, I'm like, do your sexual trauma shit. Full moon come. Everybody depressed, everybody sad. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm just feeling some type of way. Like I literally told you, when you dealing with Scorpio and you dealing with shadow, sexual trauma is it. Like, and even if you haven't experienced sexual trauma, your friends experienced sexual trauma, your boyfriend experienced it, your girlfriend experienced it, your mama, your grandmama, it's on TV, and trauma don't work just like, oh, it only happened to me. Trauma is residual. If it happened to me, my nigga, it happened to all of us. It's called the collective conscious, and we all share it. And we don't have to deal with it on a level where like, oh, people is hurting us. We could deal with it on a level that we could actually heal ourselves from the collective consciousness by just us simply doing the work. And so I really hope that y'all was able to hear me, because I kind of went through it, blew through it. This is on the live. You could listen to it again. Really understand what I'm trying to say, and give me some feedback on the comments. Give me an email, holler at me, shout at me. Will I be back on Saturday? Probably. I'll probably be back to talk about it on Saturday, because this Venus retrograde is serious, and I just want to talk about the energy as it stands as a whole. I can't really make no promises because a brother has been busy, but for sure, man, I just appreciate the love, support, and the recognition and everything, man. Like, for real, I really do appreciate it. So, you know, with that being said, I gotta go get some donuts. You know what I'm saying? So peace. Y'all have a wonderful day.